Hi, Chris here. In this video I want to talk about viruses, bacterial infections, parasites. Now these come up quite often with people, and this video is all about mainly about viruses and parasites, because I think in the medical community they treat bacterial infections with IV antibiotics and antibiotics which kill off bacterial infections. And we have a number of IV antibiotics and antibiotics in general out there that can treat bacterial infections. In the medical community there's not many antivirals, and that's mainly because a virus is an organism very clever, and they're polymorphic, which means that they can change their form. So when you finally feel like you're treating a strain of virus by a particular drug or medication, then the virus can change the way it vibrates with a frequency, and therefore that antiviral medication all of a sudden doesn't apply to it anymore and is useless essentially. So because it's polymorphic, it's very difficult for antiviral medication to be created, and that's why we don't see many antivirals in medicine. With what I do here at Truly Holistic, with using energy medicine and vibrational medicine, is that viruses are very easily to find and very easy to treat using my energy tools, because I can vibrate the frequency of what that virus is doing at the time and remove it within seconds or minutes from the body. Some people feel an instant lift of energy or clarity when I'm removing viruses. Sometimes it may take hours or a day or two for you to fully reap the benefits again and feel more energized. And that's not mainly because the virus is still there. The virus has been shifted and moved. It's just your body is going in a state of trying to rebuild itself, and it's detoxifying itself. And a lot of the symptoms that we get when we have colds and so on and mucus production is our body's way of trying to remove these harmful things that shouldn't be there out of our system. It's a detoxification method that the body is trying to get the virus and its toxins out of your body. So I'm just going to talk about some of the viruses that I have within my pendulum guides, which I can find and treat, such as herpes virus, shingles virus. I've been very successful with treating shingles virus, and shingles can be very debilitating for a lot of people and cause a lot of pain, and can be hard to treat within the medical model, but within the energy model, very easy to treat using my energy tools. H1N1, H5N1, swine flu, many types of herpes viruses, herpes zoster, bovine virus, Ebola. I have had people that have come up with Ebola before and been able to treat it with energy medicine. Cancer virus, there's a thing such as a cancer virus that has come up before. All the hepatitis such as A and B, hepatitis C, influenza viruses, intestinal viruses, measles, mumps, Epstein-Barr, which comes into more of an autoimmune condition. You might have heard. I've treated people with that before. Mumps, polio, a lot of things that people get vaccinated for, pneumonia virus, also energetic viruses from different dimensions or energy realms as well come up. So viruses can be in a different format other than a physical format. Rubella, rotavirus, yellow fever, chickenpox, and many, many more. I have 5 charts of viruses I can find within people, each chart having around about 24 different viruses. So, that's what 100 viruses that I can find in people, and using my energy tool can move that out within seconds out of somebody. Now, within the medical community, a lot of the times you go and see your doctor, they may diagnose you with glandular fever, which is really a viral complaint, or a virus of some sort, whether it's influenza virus or just your common cold. And a lot of times you've been told to just go home and rest, At times that's a good model. Your body, your immune system can get rid of that virus, but at times it doesn't, and it can linger on for a very long time, causing other things to arise further down the line, which can be more of a chronic illness. So that's viruses. Parasites. Now, parasites aren't really, other than a worm essentially being found on, say, a colonoscopy, they're not really treated parasites within people. A common complaint of somebody having a parasite is just lethargy or fatigueness, and a lot of us get that, and it's usually because of a greater population of parasite activity within the body, and there doesn't seem to be any particular protocol within the medical paradigm of identifying really parasites other than seeing the long worm parasites, which we call macro parasites because they are visible with things such as a scope, which we use like a colonoscopy, or using an endoscope which goes down the mouth, down into the stomach and at the start of the duodenum and small intestine. But there's also a lot of parasites which are micro, and which means we need a microscope to see them. They're single-celled parasites. And a lot of the times within the medical community, they are not visible and they don't see them. And I quite often and commonly see with people that have heart complaints is they have a micro parasite within the heart. And a lot of times, a lot of heart problems are caused by parasites, and can be easily fixed. Before any damage can occur to the heart, to the lungs, to the respiratory system by removing a parasite. A lot of the times people that have got asthma or breathing difficulties, they have a parasite. We remove the parasite and then that person can breathe a lot easier very quickly, within minutes. So some of the parasites that we find, macroparasites are things such as tapeworms, which can grow a foot kind of per year. So if I've found people that have had parasites for a decade or two, and usually that will mean they'll be about 20 feet in length. And these parasites, they are called parasites because they take all your minerals away from you. A lot of people that get anemic issues, it could be because you've got a parasite, because it's removing all those vital nutrients and minerals you require for red blood cell production, and also they feed on your blood as well. Things such as fluke worms and blood flukes, they're called that because they feed on your blood. They chew through the membranes of your the membrane wall of your intestines, which can cause other problems such as what we call leaky gut syndrome, and a lot of these syndromes and fatigue syndromes that are created because of our digestive system not working properly, because of parasites causing damage to that area. Also protozoa, leishmania parasites are very common. They're more of a single cell parasite, and they just cause fatigueness in people. Hookworm parasites, they can be found in a lot of organs as well. Another thing to keep in mind for people having epilepsy and seizure activity, that could be a sign that you've got a parasite within the brain and the central nervous system. Also scabies, body lice, head lice, all these sorts of things can be found as well. Pinworm, which for people if they're itchy downstairs, that's quite often a manifestation of a pinworm parasite. And a lot of the times the way we kind of look at the rest of the animal kingdom, like for example our dogs and cats and our our dogs and cats, we treat them, if they're unwell or they're getting scratching or itchy, we treat them for a certain parasite or whatever, if they're unwell. So why aren't we coming to that predicament with humans? If they're unwell, why don't we think about maybe it is a parasite? And a lot of the times we kind of take ourselves out of that situation and say we are not an animal, they're an animal, we're not. But really we are. And every living thing, because we're consuming food and we're going outside, we're always exposing ourselves to larvae and eggs of a parasite kind. So, you know, we are going to get parasites, and a lot of times parasites go through our system and then come out of our system, or our immune system removes them out of our system. But if some of these parasites are very clever and they can take over your immune system, and if they've been there for 5 years or a decade or 2 decades, they can be usually the source of a chronic health condition. So that's something to take a note. Here at Truly Holistic, we can find parasites and we can remove parasites very quickly as well. So that's all I wanted to say in this video. If you feel like you have, you know, fatigue syndromes or general fatigue, tiredness, could be that you have a parasite, could be there that you have a chronic virus. Keep in mind, here at Truly Holistic, we use a modality that can find that virus, find that parasite and remove them. If you're interested in making an appointment with me, go to my website at trulyholistic.net, and yeah, we can book an appointment and help you with any health condition that you have. Thank you for listening.